is what you're made of. You are perfect and pure, even if you're not sure. It's what you're made of. L-O-V-E, love.
And I want to give Tim our unity blessing, which you know how it ends, right? All right, Tim, just stand up for a second. Everybody stretch your hands towards him. We say, Tim, we love you. We bless you. And we behold the Christ in you. And we accept you just the way you are. All right, this week is our Earth Day service. It's a little early because next week is Easter, and we're going to be celebrating the resurrection of the light in us. So today we're going to explore this topic of our spiritual connection to all living things. Let's go back to that for a second. We're connected. We're connected to all living things. We are all living things. It's all one living organism. There's no separation. And we need to think about that because that's going to motivate in us our responsibility to be conscious and loving stewards of the environment which sustains life on earth. We all know humanity right now is facing an existential crisis. Right now, in our lifetime, humans are overwhelming and overtaxing the natural environment. We have historic levels of pollution in the water, in the air, on the land. We're overfishing the oceans. We're killing the trees and the soil in order to raise animals for human consumption. And we continue to invest in systems that are completely unsustainable. We're fast approaching a point of no return in climate change. There are fires and floods and tornadoes and hurricanes like we've never seen before. And the last 10 years were the 10 hottest years on record since we've been keeping records. The evidence is undeniable. And we're in the middle of a mass extinction. The 6th mass extinction on Earth is being caused by human beings, human activity. Pretty interesting. I apologize because I'm a preacher. I'm supposed to bring you the gospel, and the gospel is supposed to be the good news. That's the literal translation of the gospel. So I just told you all the bad news, or let's just say news that we need to accept. Don't know if it's good or bad. It just is what it is. So now what do? How do I be within myself? What kind of attitude do I take on within my own consciousness?
Love anyway.
Okay. The good news is that all this can be reversed, but not how you think. It will be reversed by a spiritual transformation. A world powerfully transformed by the growing movement of our shared spiritual transformation. So part of the spiritual path is learning awareness and acceptance. Just accepting. Okay, this is where I find myself. This is what is happening. And then acting from compassion to effect a positive change. It's not complicated. It's very simple. But why does it seem so difficult? It's simple, but it's not easy for human beings to change the way they are perceiving themselves. Somehow, your perception that everything is separate is more valuable to you than everything is one. Now, why is that? Because you have no experience, lasting experience of oneness as being the true reality. Your reality is based on your observation from a limited perspective. So how can I change that? First of all, I have 3 steps. That's it. It's not hard. 3 steps. We become aware of what's happening. First, within ourselves. and then with others, and then with the environment. We learned last night a lot about how we can change our habits of eating. Now that's just something you can do with your own body and make yourself healthier. And somebody in the film last night said, if it's healthy for you, it's healthy for the planet. Oh man, now I want to find out what is healthy for me that I can have a happier, more vibrant, incredible experience here. If you thought that was possible. And then once you're aware of what's going on within yourself, then others, then the environment, the second thing is to become aware of the conditions of the natural environment as a first step to acceptance of what we're experiencing as a species. If you go first to all of the problems that I just mentioned earlier, you're going to be overwhelmed. Martha calls some of these films horror films because they are. When you really look at what we're doing to the planet, oh my goodness, it's overwhelming. So first thing is to bring it back to yourself. Meditation. Now is the time. Cease action. Now is the time. Meditation. Silence your mind. God action. The power is mine. Amen. To take action. Right? So the action I'm taking is spiritual action. Right? Action is the final step. I got to take the first two steps. I have to get into my own being, understand what's going on with me, and empower myself and ignite and activate my God self, my Christ self. Because nothing can touch that. The thing is, the manifestation of the Christ of you in this world has to come from within outward. Amen. You can't find it out there. We keep searching. We've searched all of our life to find God out there. It's not out there. It's within. And then we understand that within and without are the same thing. So here we go. The third step is action. It's the final step. Action on an individual basis, then a community basis, and then a global level. We used to say, think globally, act locally. Amen. All right, now I've dated myself. But that's all right. First individual, then community, then globally. It's going to be much easier to do this when we open our awareness with grace and cultivate our acceptance with presence, and then create our action through spiritual power. So what am I actually talking about? Is spiritual action. And this kind of action cannot fail. It cannot fail ever. I'm talking about an inner, peaceful power. It doesn't seek to manipulate the facts in order to get a limited result dictated by the ego. But rather, it's a power of awareness which moves in harmony with nature and with God. You see, if you get into that battle of egos, you're always going to lose because the ego really doesn't have any power. So let it go. Come from your true power. Stand in your power. Talk from your power. Think in your power. Express from your power, not from your fear. So when I mention the word God, you know I'm not referring to a being out there. I'm referring to an energy, a principle of intelligence, of love, connection. Universal mind, the animating source of all life in the universe. Eternal, all-encompassing love. No opposite to that. God is love and only love. That's what we teach here at Unity on Cape Cod. And if you really think about it, in our environment, I would have to agree with this guy called George Washington Carver. He said, I love to think of nature as an unlimited broadcasting station through which God speaks to us every hour, if we only tune in. You got to tune in. You got to turn the radio on. You got to get in the receptive and grateful posture. Meditation. Now is the time. Cease action. Silence your mind. Meditation. God is my mind. So here we go. We're taking spiritual action. Doesn't that feel good? Because it's love and only love. We're acting from love.
Amen.
There's another guy, he's an architect, Frank Lloyd Wright. He said, I believe in God. I only spell it nature. He had a wonderful place he built in Wisconsin. I used to live in Wisconsin for a little while. Taliesin. Is that what it's called? Yeah, beautiful place. And the river runs right through the house. It's amazing. Yeah, right through the house. There's a waterfall coming right out of the house. It's an amazing place. Beautiful place. Anyway, I believe in God, he says. I only call it nature. And this goes along with this wonderful Canadian astrophysicist called Hubert Reeves. He says, man is the most insane species. He worships an invisible God and destroys a visible nature, unaware that the nature he is destroying is the God he's worshiping. Those Canadians are pretty smart, eh? The real problem here that we're facing is a spiritual one. Until we solve this one, all the other problems are going to continue in one form or another. So I want to look at both the problem and the solution as outlined by Albert Einstein. He said a human being is part of a whole, called by us the universe, a part limited in space and time and space. He experiences himself or herself and thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of consciousness. So separation is an optical delusion of consciousness. It is not a fact. You only experience it that way because your mind is so powerful and you project the world that you experience. How many people here are experiencing the world differently than they did 10 years ago? Oh my goodness. How many are experiencing it differently than last week? So it's always changing and moving, and consciousness is the same. It's always expanding. And if you allow your consciousness to contract into this optical delusion, you're going to think that that's the only reality. And when you think that's the only reality, that delusion becomes a prison. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for just a few persons nearest to us. That's what happens in the prison. And it gets smaller and smaller. But there is a way out. There is a way out. Here's the solution. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison. How? By widening our circles of compassion. This is what we can do. This is our action step. Widen our circles of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. Embrace it as part of you. It's just you in another form. It's a part of you showing up in a different form. So it becomes very simple to overcome all the multitude of problems. that we've created by the delusion of separation. All we have to do is widen our circles of compassion, to love our neighbor as ourselves, to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature. Embrace it. Love it. Identify with it. It's not just something for you to use and to consume and to use up. It is you. If we respect our planet and stand up for our planet, we'll be standing up for ourselves. We'll not only be helping to create a future for our children and for every generation to come, we will escape that prison of separation, which is the cause of all of our conflict. Once and for all, we'll escape it. If you go to the cause and you root it out of your mind, and you help to eliminate it from your community, and then you spread that to globally, this delusion of separation will be overcome once and for all. And since it is the cause of all of our problems, everything will begin to heal and be restored. And outside of that false sense of separation, you'll come into the experience that all is one, my friends. You'll come into the experience that all is peace. You'll come into the experience that all is love, all is good, and all is God. So take this blessed energy with you out into the world today and every day. Stand up for yourselves, stand up for our planet, and extend your spiritual power. Amen. Thank you. I love you.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at unityoncapecod.org. This video was made possible in part through a grant from Unity Worldwide Ministries and the Templeton Foundation.